Hi, my name is Judy Sylva, and this is my final project presentation for the Assessment Leadership Academy Cohort 11. I would like to give you an overview of how we plan to assess institutional learning outcomes at CSUSB.
The goal of this project is to develop an assessment plan for the 8 adopted institutional learning outcomes, ILO, at California State University, San Bernardino.
The ILO were developed through a year-long process that included input and feedback from stakeholders across the campus community. They were adopted by the President, Student Government, and Faculty Senate in April 2015.
Adriano Keyser's Change Framework, 2018, provides a model of understanding the change process and the factors that may interfere with or promote success of change initiatives. The evolutionary and social cognition theories of change appear to be most relevant to this project.
The assessment of the adopted ILO was not addressed until WSCUC provided feedback in 2017, 2 years after the adoption of the ILO.
The evolutionary theory relates to the adaptation nature of the change in assessing ILO for the purpose of informing improvement and demonstrating compliance with WSCUC criteria.
However, the very notion of assessing the ILO for any purpose other than to report statistical indicators of success is a second-order change at CSUSB.
The social cognition theories of change address innovation. The second-order change requires the organization to innovate ways to engage in both sense-making and organizational learning around the ILO.
The development of the ILO assessment plan required 4 big steps. These steps were accomplished in collaboration with lots of academic program leaders and faculty assessment leaders. The scope of this project only includes academic degree programs. The project will be expanded to include co-curricular, administrative, and operational programs and services over the next 3 years.
All this collaboration led to these 3 deliverables to complete the ILO assessment plan project. 1. An IEEI for academic degree programs. 2. An alignment matrix of general education and academic PLO with ILO. And 3. A description of the ILO assessment plan that includes a timeline for assessing each ILO over a 10-year period.
So this is a page from our IEEI. The information was provided by the program leaders from each academic program, and they entered it into an assessment management system. The faculty program leaders were supported by their college assessment coordinator. Each program already had the information as part of their quarter to semester transition plan. Now this is the really cool matrix. The Committee on Learning Assessment and Student Success, known as CLASS, is an interdivisional committee of faculty, staff, and administrators. CLASS is charged with supporting campus-wide assessment of curricular and co-curricular outcomes. The CLASS committee met to figure out how we could get a representative sample of the alignment of program learning outcomes with both the institutional learning outcomes and with the WSCUC core competencies to inform the development of the ILO assessment plan and the cycle for assessing each of the ILO in our assessment plan. This is it, part 1 of the ILO assessment plan for California State University, San Bernardino. This is the timeline and the general process for the assessment of each ILO. Since the assessment of ILO is informed by the assessment of the general education learning outcomes and the assessment of the WSCUC core competencies, these are highlighted in this graphic. So this is the description of the ILO assessment process from our IEEI. All of the components of this plan were intentionally designed to promote the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout the entire assessment cycle, from the collection of evidence through the implementation of continuous improvement recommendations in alignment with our university strategic plan.
The next steps for the institution will be focused on gaining buy-in from the campus community, identifying and incorporating co-curricular, administrative, and operational program and service outcomes in the assessment process, and developing out the processes and procedures for assembling the working groups for each ILO, as well as the means by which they will analyze the evidence provided from the assessment of GLO, PLO, and other outcomes.
Planning is underway to host a few campus conversations to disseminate the plan to the campus community for comment and feedback. Questions such as, how should the ILO working groups be composed to ensure the inclusion of diverse perspectives? How might we ensure representative sampling of evidence from academic and co-curricular outcomes assessment? Will be central.
In collaboration with members of class, we will present this model at professional conferences around assessment and co-author a paper detailing this as a case study. Work is underway with the assistance of a graduate student to develop a comprehensive review of the literature to support the concepts of this project. Another paper is being developed to focus on methods to ensure that equity gaps are prioritized in the analysis, interpretation, and recommendations for closing the loop in this plan.
So, what did I learn from this project? This project has challenged both my leadership skills and my assessment competency. In order to complete each component of the project, I leaned heavily on my leadership skills, specifically working with teams of colleagues to leverage their strengths, to promote a culture of evidence, and to just get things done. I've been so fortunate to have strong leadership for assessment in the Deputy Provost and Vice Provost for Academic Programs, Dr. Claire Weber, to whom I report, as well as the Chief Data Officer and Assistant Vice President for Institutional Research and Analytics, Dr. Muriel Lopez-Wagner. My class co-chairs, the Assessment and Research Officer in the Division of Student Affairs, Dr. Jennifer Mersman, and the Organizational Change Facilitator in Institutional Research and Analytics, Dr. Pamela Moses, have all been key to the completion of this project, as have all of my colleagues on class, especially the college assessment coordinators, who did so much to encourage and support faculty in providing the information we needed to complete the project. I want to thank all of them for their support. I also want to thank all of my colleagues in Cohort 11 of the Assessment Leadership Academy. My mentor, Rosa, who was so supportive and encouraging. Carol, who gave the most detailed feedback I think I've ever gotten on anything I've ever turned in. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm so grateful to have been on this journey with each and every one of you.